Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi departs for Johannesburg to attend the G20 Leaders Summit, also to participate in India, Brazil, South Africa Leaders Meet. India and Israel to begin FTA negotiations, ink terms of reference. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal says dates will be finalized soon. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss the US proposed Russia-Ukraine peace plan with Donald Trump soon. India's food grain output breaks all previous highs, adding new chapters of success to the country's agriculture sector. And in sports, Nikhat Zareen and Jasmine Lamboria lead India's gold rush as the country's pugilists finish with 20 medals, including 9 gold, at the World Boxing Cup finals in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is en route to Johannesburg, South Africa to attend the G20 Leaders Summit being hosted by the Republic of South Africa. This will be the 4th consecutive G20 summit held in the Global South and 20th G20 summit overall. Before departure, Prime Minister Modi issued a statement. The departure statement read, and I quote the Prime Minister here, "I'm visiting the Republic of South Africa from 21st to 23rd November 2025 at the invitation of Cyril Ramaphosa to attend the 20th G20 Leaders Summit being held in Johannesburg under South Africa's presidency. This will be a particularly special summit given that it would be the first G20 summit being held in Africa. During India's presidency of the G20 in 2023, the African Union had become a member of the G20. The summit will be an opportunity to discuss key global issues. The theme of this year's G20 is solidarity, equality and sustainability, by which South Africa carried forward the outcomes from the previous summits held in New Delhi, India and Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I will present India's perspective at the summit in line with our vision of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, meaning one earth, one family and one future. I look forward to my interactions with the leaders of the partner countries and participation in the 6th IBSA summit scheduled on the sidelines of the summit. During the visit, I also look forward to my interaction with the Indian diaspora. Indian diaspora is one of the largest outside India in South Africa." Addressing the media on Prime Minister's visit, Secretary ER at the Ministry of External Affairs, Sudhakar Dalela, said that this will be the Prime Minister's 4th official visit to South Africa. He also highlighted that the summit, which is the first G20 summit to take place on African soil, will focus on the Global South.
Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi will be visiting Johannesburg, South Africa from 21st to 23rd of November to attend the G20 Leaders Summit at the invitation of President of South Africa. This will be Prime Minister's 4th official visit to South Africa, following his bilateral visit in 2016 and later for the 2 BRICS summits in 2018 and 2023. This is the first G20 summit that will be happening on African soil, and in that context will bring the spotlight on the development issues of Africa as also of the Global South.
Calling the G20 summit a premium forum for international economic cooperation, Sudhakar Dalela also highlighted that G20 nations represent over 85% of the global GDP.
The G20 has emerged as a premium forum for international economic cooperation, as well as for discussing matters of global significance. The G20 provides an excellent opportunity for the leaders of these large economies and emerging economies, representing over 80 5% of global GDP and around 3/4 of the world population to come together and discuss important issues impacting the world. The priorities identified by South Africa are aligned with those of India's G20 presidency and that of Brazil, ensuring continuity in the G20 discussions from the perspective of matters that are important to Global South. PM will be participating in the IPSA, India, Brazil, South Africa leaders meeting, as well as holding bilateral meeting with several leaders who will be present in Johannesburg.
Lead India's Arun Sharma joins us on the phone line on the story. Arun, this will be the fourth consecutive G20 summit held in the Global South. How significant does it make the Joburg summit?
Well, it is also important for the fact that for the first time, South Africa is hosting the G20 summit, and it is because of the India's leadership in the G20 summit held in 2023. The African Union was made part of the G20, so it is of course a big summit as far as developing countries are concerned, as far as the Global South is concerned. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is or primarily will be speaking in three important sessions in the G20 summit. One is related to the economic, the financial, the infrastructure for the part. Second is regarding the climate change and the disaster resilient infrastructure. Last but not the least, it is about the critical minerals and of course the AI or the artificial intelligence. So on all these three aspects, India has shown or led by examples by showcasing it to the world that how India is doing its bit at a time when major global economies are facing the slowdown or having impact of slowdown or are under the burden of massive debt. Major global rating agencies have upgraded the India's rating and also have termed India as a shining or the bright spot as far as the economy is concerned. India is focusing upon the inclusive aspect of the economy, whereby it is taking the benefits of the high growth rate is being passed upon to with an inclusive approach. So the same kind of approach will be showcased on this multilateral platform as well. Second important aspect is about the climate change. We also know this fact that India has undertaken this massive or ambitious target of becoming carbon neutral by 2070. And when there is a divide between developing and developed world on the climate goals, India is leading by example of completing or fulfilling its climate targets. So yes, in that aspect, various initiatives like LIFE initiatives being taken by India as well. So these are some of the important aspects that India is likely to put forth on the international or this multilateral platform. And last but not the least, it's about the critical minerals and AI. Now, we have seen supply chain disruptions because of the shortage of the critical minerals and, various economies facing the brunt. Various automobile sector, the sector related to electronics have faced the brunt because of the supply chain crisis of the critical minerals. So how can there be collaboration? How can there be intact supply chain so that there is no disruptions as far as critical mineral is concerned? On that aspect, an important session is there where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be intervening or speaking in that important session. And as far as AI is concerned, we all know this fact that it's, the world has geared up for the artificial intelligence, but there is a need for collaboration so that the usage of AI can be used for the global good. So on all these aspects, India will of course be putting its vision on this multilateral platform as well. And as we know this fact that Global South representation will be more prominent this time because South Africa is hosting the G20 apparently for the first time. So this is going to be very much significant. And India's participation in this G20 summit is also be very much significant from various aspects.
Okay. Arun, Prime Minister Modi will also attend the India, Brazil, South Africa leaders IPSA meet. It's a unique forum which brings together India, Brazil and South Africa, three large democracies and major economies from three different continents. A word on that.
So absolutely. IPSA, of course, is a significant grouping between India, Brazil and South Africa. Now, all these economies are major developing economies, and we also know this fact that, at a time when major economies are facing the brunt of the tariff wars, in that context, IPSA summit can be of great importance as to how can at a time when major global economies are facing the brunt of the global slowdown, of massive debt. How can these grouping play an important role on various aspects like collaboration in the sector of energy, critical minerals, the AI. So on all these aspects, IPSA is going to be very much significant.
Arun, a last quick word. Yes, it's the G20, Africa's first summit, will see representatives of 42 countries, but not the United States, a founding member of the group. US, White House says that US is not boycotting this summit, but would you call it a rather irresponsible stance?
Well, as I said earlier also that, there is a divide on various issues as far as the developing and developed countries are concerned. But yes, India, as I mentioned earlier also, that India, the way India has shown to the world that how can developing and developed world come together on various issues. Now, it is under the India's leadership in the 2023 when the African Union was made part of the G20. So India has already showcased to the world that there can be various issues, various global issues where there can be division. But when it comes to global good, it is important that globally all the countries, important that the group of 20 countries come together on the same platform. US may boycott, may not boycott this summit as you're mentioning this. But yes, the important aspect is that the G20 summit focuses on the inclusiveness. This G20 summit is important because it is keeping the voice of the global south. It is for the first time that the African country is hosting this G20 summit. So yes, a greater representation of global south is going to be there, and various issues, very critical issues like climate change, critical minerals, AI are going to be on the agenda as far as the G20 summit is concerned. And various issues of the developing countries which were earlier suppressed or the sideline, will be put forward on this multilateral platform with greater thrust. So of course, this is going to be very much important as far as the G20 summit is concerned at a time when there is a fractured economy globally, the global slowdown is being witnessed, various major economies are facing the pressure of high debt. So in that context, this time G20 summit is going to be very much significant. And of course, we know this fact that the outcome of the G20 is not, it's non-binding in nature. But yes, the outcome of the G20 or the G20 document gives the vision to the world that what the group of 20 countries are planning and their vision is as far as the global good is concerned, as far as the world is concerned. And in that context, it is going to be very much significant.
Yes, solidarity, equality and sustainability, the prominent theme of the G20 summit this time. Thank you very much, Arun Sharma, for all those details. In a landmark development, India and Israel formally initiated negotiations for a comprehensive free trade agreement on Thursday by signing the terms of reference. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal announced during his visit. Describing the move as historic, Minister Goyal stated that dates for the inaugural round of talks would be finalized shortly, aiming to boost bilateral trade from the current $20 billion to $40 billion within the next 5 years. The agreement targets enhanced market access in sectors including information technology, agriculture, pharmaceuticals and defense, building on a preferential trade pact since 2013. Israeli Economy Minister Nir Barkat hailed the step as a catalyst for innovation-driven growth, while Indian officials emphasized mutual benefits for small and medium enterprises. Negotiations paused briefly due to geopolitical tensions, now prioritize swift conclusion to foster resilient supply chains. India has achieved a record total food production for the year 2024-25 compared to the previous year. India's Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, released the final estimates of crop production for 2024-25 in New Delhi. He expressed gratitude to the nation's farmers for achieving this record high output. He also welcomed the encouraging rise in the production of pulses and oil seeds. The Union Minister said that India is witnessing the highest increase in food grain production in the last 10 years, from 251.54 million tons in 2015-16 production has risen by 106 million tons to reach 357.73 million tons now. This reflects the rapid growth in India's agriculture sector under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. You're watching DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. From tariffs to US price pressures, Donald Trump strikes tariffs on Brazilian coffee, beef and other food products. Mummies from South America, Egypt and France are now on display at a Paris museum. And former Peruvian President Martin Vizcarra pleads not guilty in a corruption trial.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he had discussed with the visiting Secretary of the US Army on Thursday ways to work with Washington on a plan to end the conflict with Russia. After meeting a delegation that included Daniel Ryzhkov, Secretary of the US Army in Kiev, Zelensky in a social media post said, "Our teams will work on the points of the plan to end the conflict." Zelensky's office said he had received a draft of the US-backed plan and he expects to discuss it with the US President Donald Trump in the coming days. In the latest update on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the Kremlin said on Thursday that Russian President Vladimir Putin had visited the command post of the Russian forces West grouping, where he had met with the chief of Russia's General Staff Valery Gerasimov and top military brass. The Russian army claimed to have again captured the Ukrainian city of Kupiansk, a key Kiev bastion in the eastern Kharkiv region, where Russia's soldiers have been steadily advancing. While Ukraine's General Staff denied claims made by the chief of the General Staff of the Russian army, Valery Gerasimov, that Russian forces have captured the city of Kupiansk. And now let's discuss the prospects of US-brokered peace plan in this conflict with Amit Mukherjee. Hi Amit, US President Donald Trump is learned to have quietly approved a peace plan to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict. How long has the US worked out to chart this plan and what all does it include?
Well, Tanvi, as it appears that it's a 28 plan draft that has been charted out by the US administration. In fact, Steve Witkoff has been at the helm of affairs as far as this plan is concerned, along with Kirill Dmitriev, his Russian counterpart. Now, obviously the idea is to kind of instill peace in the region and end the conflict that has been going on for almost 3 years now. Now, there are a lot of issues out here. Now, Ukraine, which has been presented with the plan, largely appears to be non-committal at this stage, although it has not outrightly rejected the plan, because it says the plan really weighs heavy as far for the Russians. Now, Zelensky has been saying that the peace plan should be worth it. As of now, I mean, although he was not directly kind of shooting down this plan, but it is making a lot of points where it is appearing a bit of non-committal about the whole thing. Now we have to understand what is there in the plan. Now, as far as the Western press is concerned, if we go by the reportage of the Western press, now not only the plan entails that Kyiv should surrender some of the regions which are still under its control, slash its military strength, and also forego a lot of arms which it has been asking the NATO for to continue its war against Russia. Tanvi?
All right. As the plan makes several concessions to Russia, including that Crimea, Luhansk and Donetsk to be recognized as de facto Russian. Will Zelensky likely agree to give up land?
Not only those regions will have to be recognized as Russian. In fact, the new plan also talks about Donbass, which is currently under Kyiv's control. Now, the plan also suggests that Kyiv should surrender that region to Russia. Now, of course, it is not acceptable to the Ukrainian administration. It has been constantly saying that somebody else is making decisions on our behalf, and they are actually directing what is to be done by Kyiv right now. So it has not gone down very well, but of course it's not outrightly rejecting the plan, as I said. And Zelensky, in his diplomatic approach, has been constantly saying that we need to talk more about this, we need to discuss it, and it should be a plan that is acceptable to Kyiv as well, other than Russia and what has been suggested by Kyiv and suggested by Russia and US. Now, White House has been consistently saying that it's a very, very good plan. In fact, Caroline Levitt, she has also said that it is a plan that is a workable plan and it is benefiting both Ukraine as well as Russia. Now, Russia largely also appears, says that, of course, there has been contact with the US as far as this plan is concerned, but it has downplayed it by saying that there has not been a very, very elaborate consultation as far as this plan is concerned.
And what about the European Union? Are they on board with this 28-point plan?
Of course, in fact, both Kyiv and the European Union has been saying that Ukraine as well as European Union should be a part of this plan. Kaja Kallas of European Union has made it very, very clear that the European Union will also have to be included while formulating this kind of a peace plan between Ukraine and Russia. But as of now, it seems that US's prime priority right now is to establish peace in the region, which is why it has left out all the other stakeholders and basically negotiating and working out a plan with Russia, making sure that it is kind of in a way going forward, it is acceptable to both Ukraine as well as Russia. Tanvi?
Yes, Volodymyr Zelensky also saying yesterday that he is ready to be honest, to be able to end this war. Well, peace still seems very distant as of now. Thank you very much, Amit Mukherjee, for being on the story, reporting on the story. Following the Ukraine-US officials meet, the White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt on Thursday said that the administration is having good conversations with both parties on how to end the conflict.
So they have been engaged with both sides, and these talks are continuing. As always, I'm not going to litigate the details of this plan as it's ongoing and it's in flux, but the president supports this plan. It's a good plan for both Russia and Ukraine, and we believe that it should be acceptable to both sides, and we're working very hard to get it done.
Meanwhile, at a UN Security Council meeting, Russia defended its attack on Ukraine while the United States and Ukraine pressed for an immediate ceasefire and a viable path to peace. US Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz urged all sides to halt the fighting, saying diplomacy is the only path to a durable and just peace. Ukraine's Deputy UN Ambassador said Kiev is prepared to work with the United States, Europe and others on a draft peace plan, but stressed red lines, including no recognition of territory occupied by Russia.
The bottom line is the costs to all sides have been devastating, and it is beyond time for this war to end. And I would hope that we would all agree that this war will not end militarily. Russia's and Ukraine's leaders must negotiate. Both Russia and Ukraine must accept a ceasefire.
Since the beginning of this year, Ukraine has supported President Trump's proposals aimed at ending the war. We are ready as before to work constructively with the American side as well as with our European partners and around the world so that the outcome is peace. Ukraine has officially received from the American side a draft plan. We outlined the fundamental principles that matter to our people. We agree to work on the plan's provisions in a way that would bring about a just end of the war. In this context, allow me to make several critical points. First, While Ukraine stands ready to engage in meaningful negotiations to end this war, including at the leaders' level, our red lines are clear and unwavering. There will never be any recognition, formal or otherwise, of Ukrainian territory temporarily occupied by the Russian Federation as Russian.
Russia's UN Ambassador Vasilina Benzia accused President Zelensky of enforcing violent mobilization, forbidding retreats and seeking a ceasefire only to make sure that their defeated forces get a long-awaited breather.
Despite the encirclement of large numbers of Ukrainian forces, huge losses, violent mobilization, threats to civilians, the head of the Kyiv regime forbids acknowledging the loss of cities, orders positions to be held down to the last man and bans retreat. This policy by Ukrainian leadership has nothing to do with military reality and is purely political in nature. Zelensky wants to show his Western sponsors that the front is holding, hoping for continued funding for his war with Russia. And he needs billions to keep the war going for his own enrichment and his ilk's enrichment, and so as to stay in power. Meanwhile, Kyiv is crying out for ceasefire, and Kyiv's European accomplices are saying the same things. And the price of these calls to us is very obvious. This so-called immediate and urgent ceasefire is needed for Ukraine, only to make sure that their defeated forces get a long-awaited breather. As for the hypocritical appeal for peace from the former European partners, neither Zelensky nor his handlers seek peace.
Under a 28-point peace plan backed by US President Donald Trump, Ukraine would have to give up the eastern Donbas region to Russia. According to the plan, Ukraine would agree to limit its army to 600,000 personnel, as well as ceding Donbas, which comprises Luhansk, Donetsk regions that Ukraine currently holds, while European fighter jets would be based in Poland to protect Ukraine. No NATO troops would be stationed in Ukraine. US President Donald Trump on Thursday removed his 40% tariffs on Brazilian food products, including beef, coffee, cocoa and fruits that were imposed in July, dropping steep tariffs he imposed this summer. In an executive order released by the White House, the order will affect Brazilian imports to the US on or after November 13th and may require a refund of the duties collected on those goods while the tariffs were still being charged. The order effectively removes the 40% duty that was still on those goods after Trump dropped Brazil's 10% reciprocal duty on a long list of food products as part of a separate action last week. The move follows a similar order by the administration last Friday to remove tariffs on several agricultural products, as the White House makes a U-turn on some tariffs that have increased in the cost of food in the United States. Brazil normally supplies a third of coffee used in the United States and has more recently become an important supplier of beef, particularly the type that is used to make burgers. A federal judge appointed by former US President Joe Biden ruled on Thursday that US President Donald Trump must immediately terminate the months-long National Guard deployment in Washington, D.C., delivering a sharp legal blow to his plan to send troops into major cities despite local opposition. United States District Judge Jia Cobb ruled that deploying roughly 1,000 out of the state guard members for law enforcement duties violated laws prohibiting military involvement in domestic policing and usurped Mayor Muriel Bowser's authority. She stayed the order until December 11th to allow an appeal. The decision aligns with successful challenges by Democratic leaders in Los Angeles, Chicago and Portland, though an appeals court has temporarily preserved the Los Angeles deployment. On to South America now. Former Peruvian President Martin Vizcarra pleaded not guilty on Thursday to corruption charges stemming from his time as governor of the southern Moquegua region. Vizcarra, who served as Peru's president from 2018 to 2020, faces up to 15 years in prison on allegations that he received approximately $710,000 in bribes from construction companies between 2014 and 16. Prosecutors allege that the payments were made in exchange for awarding contracts for projects during his tenure as regional governor from 2011 to 2014. Vizcarra told the court during closing arguments that he has confidence in the judges and pledged to attend all remaining hearings and listen to the verdict when the tribunal issues its decision. The court will deliver its final ruling on November 26th. Demonstrations took to the streets of Mexico City on Thursday to protest insecurity, rising violence and corruption. Protesters marched from the Angel of Independence monument through several streets towards the Zocalo Square. They waved Mexican flags, voiced frustration over worsening security conditions and government corruption. But they were unable to access the square due to celebrations marking the anniversary of the Revolution Day. The demonstration, organized primarily by Gen Z youth groups, drew citizens demanding justice for specific cases of violence, including the assassination of Uruapan Mayor Carlos Manzo. In Nepal's Bara district, violence continued for a second day on Thursday after Wednesday's clash at Simara airport between protesting youths and cadres of Communist Party of Nepal, Unified Marxist-Leninist CPN-UML, welcoming leader Mahesh Basnet. Police arrested 38-year-old local Arvind Shah and two UML ward chairpersons following complaints of assault on the protesting youths. Demonstrators blocked the Birgunj Patalia highway all day Thursday, refusing talks until arrests were made. When clashes erupted with police, tear gas and warning shots were fired, injuring 6 officers and 4 protesters. A curfew was imposed until 8 Thursday evening. Nepal Sports and Youth Minister Bablu Gupta has gone to Simra for talks and discussions in the Bara incident as the district struggles to restore order. And now we take a look at other stories making news across the world. Mummies from South America, Egypt and France are now on display at Paris's Musée de l'Homme as part of a major exhibition exploring ancient body preservation techniques. Titled Mummies, the showcase offers visitors a rare close look at centuries-old practices. The exhibit explains how methods evolved over time from ancient evisceration to modern preservation using chemical fluids. The display is open to the public until May 25th next year. US actor Chadwick Boseman, best known for his role in Black Panther, has been awarded a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Boseman, who died in 2020 from colon cancer, continues to be remembered for his powerful performances and cultural impact. His widow, Simone Ledward Boseman, accepted the honor on his behalf. Julien's Auctions and Turner Classic Movies have revealed a preview of film and TV memorabilia ahead of their Hollywood Legends sale. Nearly 1,500 pieces from 10 decades of pop culture will go under the hammer, including screen-worn costumes, props, artwork and rare production items. The December event will highlight iconic treasures from Hollywood's golden age to today. A rare self-portrait by iconic Mexican artist Frida Kahlo has sold for $54.66 million in New York during a Sotheby's sale, setting a new record for the most expensive painting by a woman. The 1940 work, La Cama, meaning the dream, surpassed the previous record of a painting sold for $44.4 million in 2014 as part of its autumn marquee sales. You're watching DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. Indian Navy to host Swavalamban 2025 Innovation Seminar in the national capital. And the 56th edition of International Film Festival of India commences in Goa with its first ever cultural parade.
India did not agree that Hindus and Muslims could not live together. This was a birth of a country or two countries, but it was a birth that was also an abortion, because you were literally killing this country that was being born at that point. Every time a Muslim came to prominence in India, President of India, Chief Justice of India, cricket captains, whatever, it was a standing rebuke of the very Pakistani idea. If a Muslim could achieve all this in India, then why did Pakistan need to be created?
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Tanvi Taneja. The 56th edition of International Film Festival of India, IFFI, commenced in Goa on Thursday with its first ever cultural parade held that brought together the world of cinema in style. DD India's Deepika Mehato gets us this exclusive report.
The 56th International Film Festival of India opened with an immersive grand parade. With its maiden parade opening, IFFI welcomed its audience with a moving celebration revealed through rhythm, colour, pride and breathtaking imagination. From Entertainment Society of Goa office to Kala Academy, this one-of-its-kind parade transformed the streets of Goa into a living canvas of India's cinematic and cultural brilliance.
I welcome one and all those who have come specially for the International Film Festival 2025. Why the IFFI flourished here for more than 2 decades? The answer is simple. The Goa is ready to offer the world-class infrastructure.
Under the visionary leader of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, to speak about this cinema and media entertainment sector, our Honorable Prime Minister mentioned that, I mentioned his quote, this is the time of dawn of orange economy in India, content, creativity and culture, the 3 pillars of orange economy.
The parade was led by the magnificent state tableaus of Andhra Pradesh, Haryana and Goa, each presenting a vivid portrait of identity and imagination. The parade opened with breathtaking energy of Central Bureau of Communications Bharat Ek Sur presentation. Waves OTT stole the show with its magnificent display. Adding charm, nostalgia and delight were India's beloved animation favourites Chota Bheem and Chutki and Motu Patlu and Bittu Bahanebaz. Moving on, the day also witnessed the felicitation of the cast of the opening film, The Blue Trail by Gabriel Mascaro.
No, I'm so happy to be able to share my movie with the Indian audience. It's a very special festival. I've been here 5 years ago and I'm so happy to be back and see the festival alive and being able to be connected to the Indian industry, cinema industry is so special. I'm so happy to be here.
The 10-day extravaganza has officially kick-started now, where global celebrities, filmmakers and emerging talent will not only walk the red carpet, but will witness the convergence of several film industries from around the globe under one roof.
And with such colourful displays, IFFI 2025 kick-started with a grand opening parade this time, showcasing rich cultural heritage of the film industry of not only the world but the entire globe, bringing together all under the single roof. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India.
The 56th edition of IFFI also witnessed the opening of Waves Film Bazaar, inaugurated by Minister of State Dr. L. Murugan, along with international delegates. DD India's Deepika Mehato caught up with the South Korean Member of Parliament, Jiwon Kim, who sang India's national song Vande Mataram in Hindi and won the hearts of all. Take a look.
Now, the opening day of International Film Festival of India's 56th edition also witnessed the opening of Waves Film Bazaar by the Minister of State, Dr. L. Murugan. Now, this particular Waves Film Bazaar offers a marketplace to not only the country but to the global house of production, providing a range of opportunities and an opportunity to meet and greet with a wide range of producers in production houses as well. Now, this is also the place where all the producers, actors and directors find an opportunities to exchange their views, thoughts and more set of opportunities with each other under the banner of IFFI. Let's take a look at this report.
In this 19th edition of Waves Film Bazaar brings a significant expand of many dynamic marketplaces, strengthening its global footprint.
Vande Mataram, Suprajasna Pulakitayamini, Pulakusumita Trumadala Shobini, Suashini, Sumaturi Bashini.
Welcome to India. The minister just met you. How have your experience been being here at IFFI?
인도 고아에서 이루어지는 56회차 인도 국제영화제에 참석하게 돼서 매우 기쁘게 생각하고요. 56년 뿐만이 아니라 100여 년을 더 이어갈 수 있는 그런 영화제였으면 좋겠고, 이번 기회에 제가 참석함으로 해서 인도와 한국의 영화 및 콘텐츠 부분의 협력을 더욱 강화시킬 수 있는 그런 계기가 되었으면 좋겠습니다.
I feel very happy and grateful to be invited and attend this 56th International India Film Festival. And I hope not only just the 56th, it will be continue until the 100 years, that kind of a long history. It's a successful event. And throughout this chance, my visiting, I hope and expect the Korea and India, two countries, more development in the field of this film to be continue and developed more.
Korea and India, both of them, they share good bilateral relationship, not only in the film industry, but culturally as well. How do you look at the expansion of both the countries when we talk about the bilateral ties?
인도와 한국 간에는 전통적으로도 오랜 교류가 있었습니다. 예를 들자면 저는 김씨인데 저희 할머니이신 그 허황호 왕비께서 인도 아요디아 출신의 공주이시지요. 그래서 저에게도 인도 피가 흐릅니다. 그런 것뿐만이 아니라 지금 이제 성장하는 영화 콘텐츠 시장에서 한국과 인도의 협력은 매우 필수적으로 필요하다고 생각을 합니다. 왜 그러냐면은 인도는 전통 기반의, 또 한국도 전통 기반의 그런 요소들이 지금 콘텐츠에 드러나면서 세계적으로 매우 큰 인기를 얻고 있기 때문이죠. 한국과 인도가 이번에 협력을 하게 된다면은 매우 큰 시장을 같이 만들어낼 수 있을 것이라고 생각하고, 그 안에서 수많은 아름다운 아티스트들이 또 탄생을 할 거라고 생각을 합니다. 저는 그러한 일들을 만들기 위해서 한국의 국회에서 또 힘을 쏟겠습니다.
Actually, the relationship between the Korea and India is not only these days from the old times, we have a very long history. So, and when we talk about especially these days contemporary the pop culture is actually we from Korea side also we have been focusing on the traditional cultures also. And through this kind of developing and keeping each country's traditional thing and factors, so we can create more chance so all our artists and creative contents to be explored and developed more together. So for that, as a member of the parliament in Korea, I also will pour my all strength and best for promoting and supporting that.
And we can see that result because K-pop culture is very much famous in India, right from all the articles that we have from Korea to India to the web series as well. They are creating a mark in India. How do you look at it? And especially you sang Vande Mataram today in Hindi. How difficult was it?
네, 인도의 전통적인 그 키노트들이 매우 힘들기는 하지만 그러나 우리 국악도 인도 전통음악이랑 비슷한 부분이 있고요. 그게 한국 사람들의 마음속에 살아있고 그게 반영이 된 콘텐츠들이 나오고 있습니다. 저는 오랫동안 인도의 콘텐츠들을 관심 있게 바라봐 왔고 또 앞으로는 그런 우리가 한국 인도 간의 협력을 통해서 그런 것들을 좀 더 끄집어내고 그런 것들이 콘텐츠에 반영될 수 있도록 하는 그런 장이 열릴 수 있다고 생각을 합니다. 한국이 지금 이제 전 세계 콘텐츠 시장에서 매우 좋은 결과를 내고 있는데 인도도 앞으로 그렇게 될 것이라고 생각하고 저희가 도와드리고 또 인도에서도 같이 돕고 아티스트들이 함께하면 그런 세상이 금방 올 거라고 생각합니다.
It's a little bit tricky, of course, for catching and copying that kind of Indian traditional, that kind of factors when I try to sing the Vande Mataram. But actually, from my grandparents and all, my family line is from the Indian princess that the Kim's clan. So I'm kind of part of the Indian descendants, and that's why I try to catch it and learn. And based on that kind of understanding, we can create more that kind of a chance. Each country is cultural and creative content. So through that way, I think two countries make it moving forward, even in the global content market, and for helping and supporting to be a ground stone for that. I'll do my best. We'll be here.
Thank you so much for talking to us. So there you heard the Korean delegate straight from the Parliament of Korea participating at the opening ceremony of the Waves Film Bazaar and showcasing that how India and especially IFFI is going global, cutting the boundaries. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Goa.
And now let's take a look at other stories making news in India. The Indian Navy will host the 4th edition of the Naval Innovation and Indigenization Organization NIIO seminar Swavalamban 2025 on 25th and 26th of November at the Manekshaw Center in New Delhi. This year's theme, Strength and Power Through Innovation and Indigenization, underscores the Navy's push for collaborative, advanced and homegrown solutions to meet operational challenges. India Post inaugurated a revamped Delhi University post office, introducing a modern student-focused space on campus. According to the Ministry of Communications, the upgraded facility aims to reshape post offices as vibrant, technology-enabled hubs designed to connect youth with the rest of the country. As part of the National Integration Tour, 22 schools and colleges students from tribal communities in Manipur met Lieutenant General Pushpendra Singh, Vice Chief of Army Staff. He praised their achievements in various fields and encouraged them to continue striving for excellence with a strong sense of nation first. The National Integration Tour aims to broaden the outlook of students from remote regions by helping them understand India's progress, culture and unity in diversity. And on to stock market news. US stock markets fell on Thursday even after Nvidia reported strong earnings. Nvidia's shares rose at first but ended the day down more than 3%. The Nasdaq dropped over 2% and the S&P 500 fell 1.6%. Investors are worried that tech stocks, especially AI companies, are too expensive and may not make as much money as expected. Investors are also grappling with the delayed release of September payrolls data, which reinforced the belief that a Federal Reserve rate cut in December is less likely. European investors are cautious about US tech stocks. Many are worried that a few large companies dominate the market. Some investors are focusing more on European shares to reduce risk. Asian share markets declined on Friday. Japan's Nikkei dropped 2%. South Korea's Kospi fell nearly 4%. Yen stayed weak against the dollar, hitting 157.5. Japan's core consumer prices rose 3% in October, supporting expectations of a near-term rate hike. Prime Minister Takaichi's new government has set an economic stimulus of over 20 trillion yen, the largest since COVID-19, on Friday. Back to India. From policy to production, the country's defence sector is being retooled for exports, blending strategic ambition with industrial competitiveness. India recorded its highest ever defence production of 1.54 lakh crore rupees in 2024-25 with the support of policies and self-reliance reforms that has been made in the last decade.
India's defence sector is undergoing a powerful transformation driven by strategic ambition and industrial self-reliance. India recorded its highest ever defence production of 1.54 lakh crore rupees in 2024-25, fueled by robust domestic policies. Indigenous defence production surged 174% in FY 2023-24 from 2014-2015. The nation is now moving steadily toward its 1.75 lakh crore production target for the current fiscal. A network of 16,000 MSMEs has emerged as the backbone of this growth, strengthening India's defence capabilities from the ground up. This is backed by a decade of sustained government investment. India's defence budget has nearly tripled, from 2.53 lakh crore rupees in 2013-14 to 6.81 lakh crore rupees in 2025-26, enabling modernization, innovation and faster procurement. The impact is global. India's defence exports have grown 23-fold in the last decade, reaching over 100 countries, including the US, France and Armenia. By 2029, India aims to expand defence production to 3 lakh crore rupees and defence exports to 50,000 crore rupees. This rise is fueled by landmark reforms taken by government since 2014. The Defence Acquisition Procedure 2020 and Defence Procurement Manual 2025 form the backbone of a modern, efficient procurement ecosystem. Defence industrial corridors are emerging as new hubs of manufacturing excellence. India emerged as one of the most attractive destinations for defence investment with simplified licensing. 788 industrial licenses were issued to 462 companies. A domestic chip-making capability directly supports a nation's defence export potential. India's chip-making capabilities are also set to be at par with other major producers by 2032. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said that 3 of India's chip facilities will start commercial production early next year.
Today we already have an ecosystem developing just in 3.5 years, where production of chips is starting. Design of some of the most complex chips is now happening in India, all the way up to 2 nanometers. By 2031, 2032, in that time frame will be equivalent to what many of these countries are at today, and then it will be a race which will be a very fair and a level playing field. Similar things will happen in other technologies also.
Together, these efforts are shaping a resilient, technology-driven defence ecosystem that not only strengthens national security, but also positions India as a trusted global partner in defence manufacturing and innovation. Tripti Tripaঠি's report, DD India.
And on to sports news now. Nikhat Zareen and Jasmine Lamboria led India's gold rush as the country's pugilists finished with 20 medals, including 9 gold, 6 silver, 5 bronze at the World Boxing Cup finals being held at the outskirts of New Delhi. Reigning women's 48 kg world champion Meenakshi Huda registered the first gold for India after beating Uzbekistan's F. Farzona in Greater Noida. While Zareen and Lamboria set the tone for the evening session, Nikhat dominated Chinese Taipei's Yi Xuanguo 5-0 by unanimous decision in the 51 kg women's final before Jasmine beat Wu Shi-Ye in the 57 kg boxing title decider by a 4-1 margin. In fact, all 20 Indian boxers who competed in the 5-day season-ender competition managed a podium finish. The Indian women boxers ruled the show, winning 7 of the 10 possible gold medals, while the men managed to. On to Davis Cup now. Spain bounced back from an opening singles defeat to beat the Czech Republic 2-1 and reach the Davis Cup semi-finals for the first time in 6 years. They will face Germany, who earned their own comeback win over Argentina. The Spaniards had their backs against the wall when Pablo Carreno Busta was beaten in straight sets by Jakub Mensik. But they had enough quality to stage a successful comeback, with Juan Munar drawing them level with a 6-3-6-4 win over Hiri Leheka. It then came down to the doubles match, with the 39-year-old veteran Marcel Granollers and Pedro Martinez edging past Mensik and Thomas Mashok 7-6, 7-6 in an entertaining encounter. And on to football now. Italy will face Northern Ireland in the European playoffs in their bid to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, while Sweden meets Ukraine as the 16 teams will compete for the 4 remaining European slots for the global tournament. 4 times world champions, Italy again failed to secure direct qualification after finishing second in their group as they seek to qualify for the first time since the 2014 edition. Northern Ireland, on the other hand, have not qualified for the World Cup since 1986 and beaten Italy just once in 11 meetings back in 1958. Sweden must first get past Ukraine, while Poland face Albania in the other semi-final in their pathway. All the European semi-finals will take place on 26th of March, with the finals on 31st of March next year. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.